Clayton, let's talk about someone getting out of a cult. Do you want me to read an email about someone who escaped a cult?
Wow.
So this email comes from wannabe oh boy Max.
Hello, Max.
Subject all caps. I escaped a cult. 4 exclamation points. This is serious. Hello, BO boys. My name is Max, and I wanted to write in and get extremely personal this week. I was born into the cult of Pixar in my childhood. Please remember that 1995 to 2005 were my formative years. Pixar was viewed very differently back then. I spent time in my youth watching the DVD making of special features for every Pixar film and was drawn in by the charismatic leader, similar to Jim Jones, John Lasseter. I'm not proud of this, but I would monitor the Pixar Planet website for any news updates following any and all projects associated with the brand. Around 2011, I had a crisis of faith around the release of Cars 2, which led me to ultimately escape the clutches of this cult, and I emerge a much stronger person today. This behavior is inexcusable for adults today, and the fact that audiences today would rather watch The Zone of Interest than any of the 3 Pixar releases is very telling for the current state of this brand. Thank you, from wannabe oh boy Max. He escaped a cult, the cult of Pixar. Clayton, I mean, what do you think about that? It's a deeply personal email.
It's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also important. And I think it gives people hope because Max got out at Cars 2.
Mm-hmm.
So early.
Yeah.
And I think that you can still get out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you didn't get out early, just because you've been with this company and been indoctrinated your whole entire life into your adulthood. So it sounds like Max got out while he was still young.
Mm-hmm.
It is never too late to get out. You do not have to see Inside Out 2. You do not have to see that. If you don't want to, if you want out, don't see Inside Out 2. You don't have to.
Yeah. Now, if you're a child, go see Inside Out 2. I think the problem is, or if you're a parent of a child,
if you're a guardian or a parent, parent
you're
or
a guardian. But the Pixar adult thing, that is where the danger of the cult comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say I fear it because, of course, we do want people to buy movie tickets and go to the movie. So in some ways, this is a cult that we're not part of, we're not leaders of, but we sort of root for. It's weird to say we root for a cult, but do you want the cult of Pixar to go away? I don't think theaters do. It's a cult that you kind of have to do some business with, even if we do root when a good person like Max escapes it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the problem is that that it is a cult in the sense of the numbers are dwindling, but the people inside it are becoming more slavish
and more radical. Yeah,
and more radical, and they're turning regular general movie goers out. You know, they're pushing them out. That's the problem, is that the more they try to hold on to this and make this the center of their lives, it becomes pungent to general audiences where you did have the cult, but people would go and sit next to the cult members, and the cult members seemed nice and fun and into the same thing they were. But the people
they're just an adult going to see Monsters University.
Yeah.
And okay, it's weird, but they're not bothering me.
Yeah. And the people who walked out of that movie and then forgot about it until the next Pixar movie didn't see the cult. Right. But now you see the cult because they're the people that are shaking people in the lobbies of theaters and being like, did you know that Soul is getting re-released? Do you know Luca's coming back to theaters? Like shaking strangers.
Yeah.
That is a cult member. That is somebody who's been indoctrinated.
Yeah.
And so that is the problem now, is that it's dwindling into these radicalized members.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think you can't make Pixar your personality. You can't be the person that we got a horrible email. It's a great email, but about a horrible thing where a gentleman had to defend his wife from a Pixar pervert.
Mhm.
That was a great email. And
Mhm.
those are the kind of people that are making Pixar fail, is the people
Right.
who are becoming toxic about it.
Right, right. It's interesting that Max did mention the cult leader John Lasseter, who is no longer the leader of Pixar, and I think that's part of why this cult has been losing popularity, and people have been able to escape,
Mhm.
which is good. Which is good. I don't know if Max is able to escape if John Lasseter was still in charge of the cult. Maybe he would still be stuck in there. So, yeah, this is in the end a hopeful email. And like Max said, it's not about people escaping the cult and never going back to the movie theaters. It's about they could escape the cult and they could go see a zone of interest and a poor things. And they don't have to be adults who only think that Pixar movies are the only, quality films that are out there.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
congratulations, Max. And hope you enjoy Zone of Interest.
Yeah. Stay strong, Max. Stay
So
strong.